If you're home alone and suddenly feel chest pain, do you know the one mistake that could cost you your life within minutes? Right now, I'm going to reveal the 7 critical mistakes seniors make when experiencing heart attack symptoms alone, and the exact steps that could save your life or the life of someone you love. One common reaction that seems logical actually reduces your survival chances by 40%, and nearly every senior does it instinctively. Thomas, a 69-year-old retired engineer from Wisconsin, felt chest discomfort while watching television alone one evening. He made 3 fatal mistakes in the first 10 minutes that cost him precious time, and his neighbor found him 2 hours later. Doctors said those early decisions determined his outcome. Mistake 1: waiting to see if symptoms go away. The deadliest mistake you can make is convincing yourself that chest discomfort or unusual symptoms will pass on their own if you just wait a little longer. The American Heart Association reports that the average heart attack victim waits 3 hours before seeking help, and this delay directly increases death rates by 50% compared to those who get immediate care. During a heart attack, a blocked artery stops blood flow to part of your heart muscle, and every single minute without oxygen causes more heart cells to die permanently. These cells never regenerate or come back. The longer you wait, the more extensive the damage becomes, and the damage is irreversible once those cells are gone. Every minute of delay allows your heart muscle to die while you're sitting there hoping things will improve. Within the first hour, treatments exist that can restore blood flow and save most of your heart muscle, but these treatments become less effective with each passing minute. After 6 hours, the window for the most effective interventions closes completely, and the damage becomes permanent regardless of treatment. You might survive, but you'll live with a weakened heart that limits everything you can do for the rest of your life. The difference between calling for help immediately versus waiting even 30 minutes can determine whether you walk out of the hospital in 3 days or spend weeks recovering from preventable complications. Delayed treatment dramatically increases your risk of heart failure, dangerous heart rhythms, cardiac arrest during the acute phase, and death either immediately or in the months following. It reduces your survival chances, limits your recovery options, causes permanent disability that affects your independence, and creates complications that could have been completely prevented with prompt care. Many seniors convince themselves they're overreacting or don't want to bother anyone, but emergency responders and doctors would far rather respond to a false alarm than arrive too late to save your life. Sylvia, a 71-year-old teacher from Idaho, felt mild chest pressure, but waited 90 minutes hoping it would pass. By the time she called for help, she had suffered permanent heart damage that proper immediate care could have prevented completely. Call 911 immediately at the very first sign of chest discomfort, pressure, pain, tightness, or any unusual symptoms that concern you. Never wait more than 5 minutes to see if symptoms improve on their own. If you feel something is seriously wrong with your body, trust that instinct and get help immediately without second-guessing yourself. Tell the 911 operator you're experiencing possible heart attack symptoms so they send paramedics immediately. Your heart muscle is dying with every minute you wait, and convince yourself this will pass. Call 911 at the very first warning sign without any delay. Mistake 2: driving yourself to the hospital. Are you planning to get in your car and drive yourself to the emergency room if you experience heart attack symptoms? Johns Hopkins cardiologists confirm that driving yourself during a heart attack dramatically increases your risk of sudden cardiac arrest while behind the wheel, causing fatal accidents and preventing any possibility of receiving immediate life-saving treatment. During a heart attack, your heart's electrical system becomes unstable and can suddenly shift into a fatal rhythm without any warning. If this happens while you're driving, you'll lose consciousness instantly, crash your vehicle, potentially kill innocent people, and die alone before anyone can help you. You could lose consciousness behind the wheel within seconds, crash into other vehicles, causing multiple deaths, hit pedestrians crossing the street, or die alone in your car in a parking lot before anyone notices you need help. Even if you make it to the hospital parking lot, you might collapse between your car and the emergency room doors where nobody sees you immediately. Driving yourself also means you're navigating traffic, experiencing stress that worsens your condition, and receiving absolutely no medical care during the most critical minutes when intervention could save your life and prevent permanent damage. The stress of driving itself can worsen your heart attack and trigger cardiac arrest. Driving yourself delays proper treatment by eliminating the critical care paramedics provide during transport, prevents continuous monitoring of your heart rhythm, removes any possibility of CPR if you go into cardiac arrest, and endangers everyone on the road, including yourself. Paramedics carry equipment to monitor your heart, administer oxygen, start intravenous lines, give critical treatments, and perform CPR if needed, all while transporting you to the hospital. They also communicate with the emergency room so doctors are ready the moment you arrive. None of this happens if you drive yourself. Leonard, a 67-year-old mechanic from Tennessee, felt chest pain and drove himself to the hospital. But he lost consciousness in the parking lot where no one found him for 20 minutes. Always call 911 and wait for paramedics who can begin treating you immediately. Monitor your heart continuously and perform life-saving procedures if needed during transport. Stay exactly where you are when symptoms begin, whether that's home, a store, or anywhere else. Unlock your front door if you're home so paramedics can reach you if you lose consciousness. Sit down in a comfortable chair and stay calm while waiting for help to arrive. Never get behind the wheel of a vehicle during heart attack symptoms under any circumstances. Call 911 immediately and stay exactly where you are until help arrives. Mistake 3. Calling family. Before calling 911, calling your children, spouse, or other family members first instead of 911 wastes critical minutes that directly determine whether you survive and how much permanent damage your heart suffers. The Mayo Clinic emphasizes that every single minute of delay reduces your survival rate and increases the extent of irreversible heart damage. Calling family members first typically adds 15 to 30 minutes before help actually arrives at your location. Your family member must first process what you're telling them, decide what to do, call 911 themselves and explain the situation, and then the ambulance must travel from the fire station to your home. All of this takes time your dying heart muscle doesn't have. During those 15 to 30 extra minutes, more of your heart muscle dies permanently from lack of oxygen. Your condition can deteriorate into cardiac arrest, dangerous heart rhythms can develop, and treatments that would have been effective become less useful or completely ineffective. The first hour after heart attack symptoms begin is called the golden hour because treatments during this time can prevent most permanent damage, but only if you get help immediately. Every minute counts, and wasting 15 to 30 minutes calling family first can transform a survivable heart attack with full recovery into permanent disability or death. Your family can't provide the medical care you need, but paramedics can. This delay allows more extensive heart damage, dramatically increases your risk of sudden cardiac arrest, reduces the effectiveness of all treatments, and may result in permanent disability, chronic heart failure, or death that could have been prevented. When you call 911 first, trained dispatchers can give you instructions on what to do while waiting for help. Paramedics arrive with life-saving equipment, and your family can be notified by hospital staff once you're receiving care. This is the correct order that saves lives. Reversing this order costs lives needlessly. Doris, a 73-year-old nurse from Maine, called her daughter first to ask advice about her chest pain, and by the time paramedics finally arrived 40 minutes later, she had suffered extensive, irreversible heart damage. Call 911 first, always without exception during any medical emergency. After you've called emergency services and they're on the way, then call family members if you feel able to make another call, but never reverse this order. Make 911 your first call every single time. Keep your phone within reach at all times, especially if you live alone. Program 911 into your speed dial even though it seems unnecessary. Every second counts during cardiac emergencies, and family members cannot provide the immediate medical care that paramedics can deliver. Make 911 your first call during any cardiac emergency, and call family second if time permits. Mistake 4. Taking someone else's heart medication. Would you take your spouse's or friend's heart medication if you experienced chest pain and they suggested it might help? According to Harvard Medical School, taking another person's cardiac medication during an emergency can cause dangerous drug interactions, severely worsen your condition, trigger life-threatening reactions, or mask critical symptoms that doctors need to assess properly. Different heart conditions require completely different treatments, and what helps one person can harm or kill another. Your spouse's medication is prescribed specifically for their condition, their body weight, their other health issues, and their other treatments. None of that applies to you. Taking the wrong heart medication can cause your blood pressure to drop to dangerous levels, where your brain doesn't receive adequate blood flow, trigger irregular heartbeats that are more dangerous than your original problem, interact catastrophically with your own health conditions or your regular treatments, or mask symptoms in ways that prevent doctors from making an accurate diagnosis and providing appropriate care. Some heart treatments that help certain conditions will worsen others. You have no way of knowing which category you fall into during an emergency. Only trained medical professionals with proper diagnostic equipment can determine what you need and what will help versus harm you. Wrong medication during cardiac emergencies can cause immediate life-threatening complications, worsen the heart attack itself, create new problems that complicate your treatment, and prevent doctors from accurately assessing your condition because they don't know what substances are in your system. Even if you've taken the same medication before, your current situation might make it dangerous now. Even if your symptoms seem identical to what your spouse experiences, the underlying causes might be completely different. Medical conditions and appropriate treatments are highly individual and cannot be transferred between people. Vincent, a 70-year-old contractor from Colorado, took his wife's heart medication during chest pain, which caused his blood pressure to drop dangerously low and significantly complicated his emergency treatment. Never take anyone else's medication under any circumstances, regardless of how similar your symptoms seem or how much they insist it will help. Call 911 immediately and let paramedics and emergency doctors determine appropriate treatment based on proper assessment of your specific condition. Don't take anything except what 911 dispatchers specifically tell you to take while waiting for help. If you have your own prescribed medication that you take regularly, continue taking it as prescribed unless emergency responders tell you otherwise. Only medical professionals should determine medication during cardiac emergencies. Never attempt to treat yourself or follow advice from well-meaning family members. Call 911 and let professionals handle treatment decisions. Mistake 5. Lying down or going to sleep. Lying down flat or trying to sleep through heart attack symptoms can be fatal. The American College of Cardiology warns that lying flat during a heart attack can worsen your symptoms significantly, reduce blood flow to your heart, increase the work your damaged heart must perform, and dramatically increase your risk of sudden cardiac arrest. When you lie flat on your back, blood pools in your lungs and increases the fluid your heart must pump against. Your damaged heart is already struggling, and lying flat makes its job much harder. This can quickly lead to fluid backing up into your lungs, making breathing extremely difficult or impossible. Lying down during cardiac symptoms increases breathing difficulty because fluid accumulates in your lungs, elevates your risk of sudden cardiac arrest because your heart is working harder against increased resistance, makes it much harder for your already damaged heart to pump blood effectively throughout your body. And if you lose consciousness while lying down alone, no one may discover you until it's too late for any intervention to save your life. Many people instinctively want to lie down when they feel unwell, thinking rest will help, but during a heart attack, this instinct can kill you. You need to stay upright to help your heart pump more efficiently and to maintain consciousness so you can call for help if you haven't already. If you go to sleep during heart attack symptoms, you may never wake up. Cardiac arrest can occur during sleep without you even knowing something is wrong. And if you're alone, no one will be there to perform CPR or call for help. Even if you don't go into full cardiac arrest, sleeping through a heart attack allows massive amounts of heart muscle to die while you're unconscious, resulting in permanent disability, even if you survive. The pain and discomfort you're feeling is your body's alarm system telling you something is seriously wrong. Ignoring that alarm by going to sleep can be a fatal decision. Keith, a 68-year-old farmer from Arkansas, felt chest pain in the evening, but went to bed thinking rest would help. He went into cardiac arrest during the night and wasn't discovered until morning. Sit upright in a sturdy chair with arms or prop yourself up with multiple pillows if you must stay in bed for mobility reasons. Loosen any tight clothing around your neck, chest, or waist to help you breathe easier. Stay conscious and alert while waiting for help to arrive. Do not lie flat under any circumstances. Do not try to sleep off the symptoms or convince yourself you'll feel better after a nap. Remain sitting upright in a position that makes breathing easiest. Stay awake and wait for emergency responders. Stay sitting upright and fully alert during any cardiac symptoms. Never lie down flat or attempt to sleep through heart attack warning signs. Mistake 6. Trying to tough it out alone. Are you the type of person who doesn't want to bother anyone, cause a fuss, or seem weak by asking for help? Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that men and seniors frequently delay seeking help due to embarrassment, not wanting to burden others, fear of being wrong about their symptoms, or wanting to maintain their independence and tough image. This attitude significantly increases mortality rates, causes unnecessary deaths, and results in permanent disability that could have been prevented. Your life is worth infinitely more than avoiding temporary embarrassment or inconvenience to others. Emergency responders have chosen their profession specifically to help people like you during emergencies, and they would much rather respond to a false alarm than arrive too late to save someone's life. Stoicism and denial during heart attacks cause completely unnecessary deaths every single day, result in massive permanent heart damage that leaves survivors disabled and dependent on others for basic care, dramatically reduce quality of life for any remaining years, and create devastating guilt and grief for surviving family members who wish you had called for help sooner. The independence you're trying to preserve by toughing it out alone is exactly what you'll lose permanently if you don't get immediate help. A person who calls for help immediately and receives proper treatment walks out of the hospital in a few days and returns to independent living. A person who waits and tries to tough it out ends up with permanent heart damage requiring assistance with daily activities for the rest of their life. Which scenario better preserves your independence? Many seniors, especially men, were raised to believe that asking for help shows weakness or that they should be able to handle problems themselves without burdening others. These beliefs kill people during medical emergencies. There is nothing weak about recognizing a medical emergency and responding appropriately. In fact, it takes wisdom and strength to set aside pride and do what's necessary to survive. Nobody will think less of you for calling 911 during a heart attack. Everyone will admire your good judgment. But if you die trying to tough it out alone, you won't be there to care what anyone thinks. Arthur, a 74-year-old veteran from Georgia, felt severe chest pressure but didn't want to wake his sleeping wife or seem weak until symptoms became unbearable 2 hours later, by which time severe, irreversible damage had occurred. Immediately alert someone the moment you experience cardiac symptoms. Call 911 without hesitation or second guessing. Knock loudly on a neighbor's door if you need immediate help while waiting for paramedics. Use a medical alert system if you have one. Call a friend or family member after calling 911. Never face cardiac symptoms alone in silence because of pride, embarrassment, or not wanting to bother people. Your life matters far more than any temporary inconvenience or embarrassment. Get help immediately without letting pride interfere with survival. Your life matters more than pride or embarrassment, and getting immediate help is the strongest, wisest decision you can make. Mistake 7. Ignoring unusual symptoms. Because they don't match expectations, heart attacks in seniors, especially those over 60, often present with symptoms completely different from the classic chest-clutching image most people expect. Johns Hopkins Medicine reports that up to 40% of seniors, particularly women, but also many men, experience heart attacks without significant chest pain. Instead, feeling extreme fatigue, nausea, back pain, jaw discomfort, or other vague symptoms that don't seem cardiac-related at all. You might feel overwhelming, unexplained tiredness that makes you want to sit down immediately, indigestion or stomach discomfort that doesn't respond to antacids, unusual shortness of breath during normal activities, pain or discomfort in your jaw, neck, back or shoulders, or just a vague sense that something is seriously wrong with your body, even though you can't pinpoint exactly what. Dismissing these unusual symptoms because they don't match your mental image of a heart attack causes fatal delays in treatment, allows progressive and extensive heart damage to occur while you're convincing yourself it's nothing serious, and completely eliminates treatment options that could save your life and prevent permanent disability, but are only effective during the first critical hours. Senior bodies often respond differently to heart attacks than younger bodies do. Your nervous system changes with age. Conditions like diabetes can affect how you experience pain, and the presentation of heart attacks simply differs in older adults. Medical textbooks now recognize that atypical presentations are actually typical in seniors, but most seniors don't know this and dismiss symptoms that don't match what they see in movies or television. Ignoring atypical symptoms because they seem minor or unrelated to your heart allows massive heart damage to accumulate silently, dramatically increases your risk of sudden cardiac arrest without warning, eliminates the most effective treatment options that are only available in the first hours, and can result in you having a heart attack without ever realizing it until days later when the damage is permanent and irreversible. Some seniors have heart attacks and don't discover it until a routine medical appointment weeks later, when tests show old heart damage. By then, nothing can be done to reverse the injury. These silent heart attacks still cause permanent damage, increase your risk of future cardiac events, and significantly reduce your life expectancy and quality of life. Gladys, a 72-year-old librarian from Nevada, felt overwhelming fatigue and nausea, but dismissed it as a stomach bug, only learning 3 days later during a scheduled doctor visit that she'd had a significant heart attack. Trust your instincts completely. When something feels seriously wrong with your body, even if symptoms seem vague or don't match typical heart attack descriptions. Call 911, even if you're not certain it's cardiac-related, and let trained medical professionals determine the cause with proper diagnostic equipment. Never dismiss unusual fatigue, unexplained nausea, discomfort in your jaw or back, shortness of breath, or any other symptom that feels different or concerning. Tell 911 operators all your symptoms, even if they seem unrelated, and let paramedics assess you properly. Better to have emergency responders check you out and find nothing serious than to dismiss real symptoms and suffer permanent damage or death. Unusual symptoms in seniors are often heart attacks presenting atypically. Never dismiss your intuition that something is seriously wrong. You've just learned the 7 critical mistakes that cost seniors their lives during heart attacks. Waiting to see if symptoms pass instead of calling immediately, driving yourself to the hospital instead of waiting for paramedics, calling family before 911 and wasting precious minutes, taking someone else's medication, lying down or trying to sleep through symptoms, trying to tough it out alone because of pride or embarrassment, and dismissing unusual symptoms that don't match your expectations. The life-saving truth is simple and clear. Call 911 immediately at the very first sign of any cardiac symptoms. Stay sitting upright while waiting for help. Never attempt to drive yourself anywhere, and trust that unusual or vague symptoms in seniors are often heart attacks. These actions, taken within the first critical minutes, directly determine your survival and your recovery. Which of these mistakes have you witnessed someone make or nearly made yourself? Leave a comment sharing your experience, because your story could save someone's life by reinforcing how critical these lessons are. If this information could mean the difference between life and death for you or someone you know, hit that like button right now and share this video immediately with your friends and family. You could literally save a life today with one simple share. Subscribe to this channel because I share life-saving health information like this every single week that helps seniors stay safe, healthy, informed, and prepared for emergencies. Every senior needs to know these critical facts right now.